Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have this association of His Grace Murali Prabhu. So we will continue to learn from Rudra Geetam. Prabhuji will share the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Rudra Geetam, Canto 4, chapter number 24, sloka number 45 and 46. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandar Pranams to everyone.
Prabhuji, can you adjust your camera a little bit, Prabhuji? I think it is.
Is it? Okay, 1 minute.
Let me adjust. Okay. Now
let me adjust. How is it? About it?
Now it is okay.
Okay. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to do the service of chanting Srila Prabhupada's purports of a wonderful chapter, chanting the song of sung by Lord Shiva, chapter 24. I will start it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, in the chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, so far, I want to just to brush it up so that we can understand what is gone. The prasadas who were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, when they are emerging from the water with his associates, when Shiva is emerging out of the water with his associates, prasadas were in a position to see Lord Shiva. They immediately offered obeisances and with a great amazement, they fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Shiva said, "You are all sons of Prasinabari, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know that you are going to do what you are going to do. What is that austerities you are going to take? Therefore, I am visible to you, just to show my mercy upon you." That's what Lord Shiva says. And a special character of Lord Shiva, any person who surrendered to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, controller of everything, and he actually very dear to Lord Shiva. That was the condition. And Lord Shiva says, "You are all devotees. And as such, I appreciate that you are the respectable as Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me and I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be dear to devotee as I am." That's what Lord Shiva confirms. So now Lord Shiva says, "I will chant a mantra which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively." Lord Shiva is telling prasadas. Lord, in that prayer, Lord Shiva addressing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories to you. You are most exalted of all self-realized soul. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me also. And he is also telling the superiority of the Lord by telling you are the origin of creation, and you are the origin of subtle material ingredients, and you are a directing deity known as Aniruddha, Shankarshana, Pridumna. Like that he is going on telling. And he is telling, my dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all individual bodies of the living entities. I wish to see you exactly in the form you are very dear to your dear devotees worship. How you are showing your form for your devotees. The same way, can you show that particular form? You have many other forms, but I wish to see this form that is especially liked by the devotees. So this is a chapter. It starts with 424, 45 and 46 verses. I will chant. Srigna Pravat Ganshamam Sarva Saundarya Sangraham Charoita Chadurbahu Sujata Ruchiranam Padmakosha Palaksham Sundarabru Sunakshikam Sudvijam Sukapolayam Samakarna Vibhashanam. Snigdha, glistening. Pravat, rainy season. Ganashyamam, densely cloudy. Sarva, all. Saundarya, beauty. Sangraham, collections. Charu, beautiful. Ayata, bodily features. Chatubahu, unto the four-armed. Sujata, ultimately beautiful. Ruchira, very pleasing. Ananam, face. Badmakosha, the whole of the lotus flower. Palasa, petals. Aksham, eyes. Sundara, beautiful. Bruhu, eyebrows. Bru, eyebrows. Sunasikam, raised nose. Sudvijam, beautiful teeth. Sukapola, beautiful forehead. Asyam, face. Samakarna, equally beautiful ears. Vibhushanam, fully decorated. The Lord's translation and purport by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's beauty resembles dark cloud during the rainy season. As the rainfall glisten, the bodily features also glisten. Indeed, he is the sum total of all beauty. The Lord has four arms and an exquisitely beautiful face with eyes like lotus petals, a beautiful, highly raised nose, a mind-attracting smile, a beautiful forehead, and equally beautiful and fully decorated ears. I want to request all the audience, purport of Srila Prabhupada, each and every line going to give some wonderful meaning to all of us. So carefully hear the purport. Purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After scorching heat of the summer season, it is very pleasing to see dark clouds in the sky. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Bhagavatam Asitambuddha Sundarangam. The Lord wears a peacock feather in his hair, and his bodily complexion is just like the blackish cloud. The word Sundara or Snigdha means very pleasing. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya. Krishna's beauty is so pleasing that not even millions of cupids can compare to it. The Lord's form as Vishnu is decorated in all opulence. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to see that most opulent form of Narayana or Vishnu. Generally, the worship of Lord begins with the worship of Narayana or Vishnu, whereas the worship of Lord Krishna and Radha is most confidential. Lord Narayana is worshipable by the Pancharatrika Vidhi or regulative principles, whereas Lord Krishna is worshipable by Bhagavata Vidhi. No one can worship the Lord in the Bhagavata Vidhi without going through the regulations of Pancharatrika Vidhi. Actually, neophyte devotees worship the Lord according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi or regulative principle enjoined in the Narada Pancharatrika. Radha Krishna cannot be approached by the neophyte devotees. Therefore, temple worship according to regulative principle is offered to Lakshmi Narayana. Although there may be a Radha Krishna Vigraha or form, the worship of the neophyte devotees is acceptable as Lakshmi Narayana worship. Worship according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi is called Vidhi Marga, and worship according to the Bhagavat Vidic principle is called Raga Marga. The principle of Raga Marga are especially meant for devotees who are elevated to the Vrindavana platform. The inhabitants of Vrindavana, the gopis, the Mother Yasoda, Nanda Maharaj, cowherd boys, and the cows and everyone else are actually on the Raga Marga or Bhagavat Marga platform. They participate in 5 basic rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, Madhurya, and Santa. But although these 5 rasas are found in the Bhagavat Marga, the Bhagavat Marga is especially meant for Vasalya and Madhurya, or parental and conjugal relationship. Yet there is a Vipralamba Sakya, the higher fraternal worship of Lord, especially enjoyed by the cowherd boys. Although there is a friendship between Krishna and cowherd boys, this friendship is different from the Aishwarya friendship between Krishna and Arjuna. When Arjuna saw Vishwarupa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, he was afraid for having treated Krishna as an ordinary friend. Therefore, he begged Krishna's pardon. However, the cowherd boys, who are friends of Krishna in Vrindavana, sometimes ride on the shoulder of Krishna. They treat Krishna equally, just as they treat one another, and they were never afraid of him, nor do they have any ever beg for his pardon. Thus, in the Raga Marga or Bhagavat Marga, friendship exists on higher platform with Krishna, namely the platform of Visharmba friendship, parental friendship. Parental service and conjugal service are visible in the Vrindavana Raga Marga relationship. Further, Srila Prabhupada says, without serving Krishna according to the Vidhi Marga, regulative principles of the Pancharatrika Vidhi, unscrupulous person want to jump immediately to the Raga Marga principle. Such persons are called Sahajyas. There are also demons who enjoy depicting Krishna and his pastime with the gopis, taking advantage of Krishna by their licentious character. These demons who print books and write lyrics on the Raga Marga principles are surely on the way to hell. Unfortunately, they lead others down with them. Devotees in Krishna conscious should be very careful to avoid such demons. One should strictly follow the Vidhi Marga, regulative principle in the worship of Lakshmi Narayana. Although the Lord is present in the temple as Radha Krishna include Lakshmi Narayana. Therefore, when one worships the Lord according to regulative principle, the Lord accepts the service in the role of Lakshmi Narayana. The nectar of devotion, full instructions are given about the Vidhi Marga worship of Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayana. Although there are 64 kind of offenses one can commit in Vidhi Marga worship, in Raga Marga worship, there is no consideration of such offenses because the devotees on that platform are very much elevated and there is no question of offense. But if we do not follow the regulative principle on the Vidhi Marga platform and keep our eyes trained to spot offenses, we will not make progress. In the description of Krishna's beauty, Lord Shiva uses the word Sarvayata Chaturbahu Sujata Ruchiranam, indicating that the beautiful 4-armed form of Narayana or Vishnu, those who worship Lord Krishna describe him as Sujata Ruchiranam. In Vishnu Tattva, there are hundreds and thousands of millions of forms of Supreme Lord. But all these forms, the form of Krishna is most beautiful. Thus, for those who worship Krishna, the word Sujata Ruchiranam is used. The 4 arms of Lord Vishnu have different purposes. The hand holding lotus flower and conch shell are meant for devotees, whereas other 2 hands holding the disc and mass or club are meant for demons. Actually, all the Lord's arms are auspicious, whether they are holding conch shell, and the flower or the club and disc. The demon killed by Lord Vishnu's chakra, disc, and club are elevated to spiritual world, just like the devotees who are protected by the hands holding the lotus and conch shell. However, the demons who are elevated to the spiritual world are situated in the impersonal Brahman effulgence, whereas the devotees are allowed to enter to the Vaikuntha planet. Those who are devotees of the Lord are immediately elevated to the Goloka Vrindavana planet. The Lord's beauty is compared to the rainfall, because when the rain falls into the rainy season, it becomes more and more pleasing to the people. After the scorching heat of summer season, the people enjoy the rainy season very much. Indeed, they even come out of their door in the village and enjoy the rainfall directly. Thus, the Lord's bodily features are compared to the clouds of the rainy season. The devotees enjoy the Lord's beauty because it is a collection of all kinds of beauties. Therefore, the word Sarva Saundarya Sangraham is used. No one can say the body of the Lord is wanting the beautiful parts. It is complete, Purnam. Everything is complete. God's creation, God's beauty, God's bodily future, all these are so complete that all one desire can become fully satisfied when one sees the beauty of the Lord. The word Sarva Saundarya indicates that there are different type of beauties in the material and the spiritual world, and that Lord contains all of them. Both the materialistic and spiritualist can enjoy the beauty of the Lord, because the Supreme Lord attracts everyone, including the demons and devotees, materialist and spiritualist. He is called Krishna. Similarly, in devotees also attract everyone. As mentioned in Sad Goswami Sostra, Dhira Dhira Jana Priyav. The Goswamis are equally dear to Dhira, devotees, and Adhira, demons. Lord Krishna was not very pleasing to the demons when he was present in Vrindavana. But the 6 Goswamis were pleasing to the demons when they were present in Vrindavana. That is the beauty of the Lord, dealing with his devotees. Sometimes Lord gives more credit to his devotees than he takes for himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna fought simply by giving directions. Yet it was Arjuna who took the credit for fighting. Nimittamattaram bhava sayachachin. You, Savyachachi, Arjuna, can be put an instrument on fight. Everything was arranged by the Lord, but credit was of the victory was given to Arjuna. Similarly, in Krishna conscious moment, everything is happening according to the predictions of Lord Chaitanya, but the credit goes to Lord Chaitanya, sincere servants. Thus, the Lord is described here as Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. So, such a wonderful, very big purport. And each and every word of this purport was very much attracting me. And I hope it will attract you also. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sabhidam Mena Budale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Padatitra Padantiyam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sriyodapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sakrajadam Sagana Raghunadan Vitam Samsajivam Satvaidam Savadutam Kvarinda Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lita Sri Vishaga Vidamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Ganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpataru Basya Kripa Sindhupye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pakshate Desarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. What a wonderful flow of thoughts while writing this purport by Srila Prabhupada. He is talking about the Lord Shiva's prayer. And in that, he is trying to indicate first 2 margas of the spiritual life. One is a Vaidhi Marga, one Pancharatrika Vidhi Marga, one is a Bhagavat Marga. So these 2 margas he is trying to indicate. Further, he is talking in the prayers of Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. He is talking about the beauty of the Lord. He is indicating, and so many different type of things he is trying to bring it in this purport. we had seen the prayers of so many devotees, and especially great devotees who had seen the Lord directly, like Lord Shiva had seen the Lord directly, and he want to see, right? And Kunti Maharani directly seen the Lord. Brahma has seen the Lord directly, and gopis, they had seen the Lord directly. Each and every one of them, they had their prayers on their own way. What Maharani Kunti says, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devagi Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Sri Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva and pleasure of Devaki, the boy Nanda, and the cowherdman of Vrindavana, and the enlivener of the cows and senses. And she is also mentioning Namo Pangajanabhaya, Nama Pangajamalini, Nama Pangajanetraya, Namaste Pangajangrahe. My respectful obeisances unto you, Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with the garland of lotus flower, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotus. So this way, Kunti Maharani is praying. How Lord Shiva is praying, in the same way, he is trying to pray. Lord Shiva want to see the appearance of the Lord in the form which is given to devotees, like Kunti Maharani and gopis. Gopis in the separation, what they say, Saradudasaye Sadhujadasa, Sarasijodara Sri Mushadasha, Suradanatate Sulkadasika, Varada Nignato Negakimbata. O Lord of love, in a beauty, your glance excels the whole of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of the benedictions, you are killing the maidservants who given themselves to you freely without any price. Is this not a murder? They are asking. So they are indicating so many pastimes of the Lord Gopis, so that Lord will remember that and come back. Vishajallapyaya Vyala Rakshasat Varshamarudat Vaityudanala Vishamayatmaja Vishwadobaya Rishabhadevayam Rakshitamuhu. Oh, greatest personality, you are repeatedly saved us from all kind of dangers, from the poisonous water, from the terrible man-eater Aga, from the greatest rain, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. Like that, you saved us from so many things. Why don't you appear before us, lords? So gopis in separation, they are singing. And Brahma, who had seen the Lord directly, why he's in Brahma Samhita, Alola Sandras Kalasatvanamalyam Simratnagatam Pranekeli Kala Vilasam Shyamam Tribangalalitam Niyada Prahasam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma says, I worship Govinda, primal Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland flower, beautiful with moon locket. Those whose hands are adorned with the flute of jeweled ornament, who always reveal the pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shama Sundara is eternally manifest. Brahma says, Kunti Maharani says, and Gopi says, the same form of Tribanga Lalitam, Lord Shiva want to see now. So in this verse, he is explaining to the Prasedas, this is the way we'll have to pray to get the audience of the Lord. See, we had seen in each and every prayer of this thing, or each and every scriptures, you see, there is something called a Paribhasha Sutra. Paribhasha Sutra is a very important verse, very, very important verse. That verse will give you the total meaning of the entire book. That is a Paribhasha Sutra. It is often seen that the first few verses of spiritual book present very essence of it. If it does, then the verse is called Paribhasha Sutra. Although usually appearing only once in the whole book or a chapter, it is a regulator, the king ruling over all other verses. In one chapter, that one particular verse, like how Kunti Maharani explaining about the beauty of the Lord. In other words, Paribhasha Sutra present the sole purpose, conclusions of the final message of the book. So we will see some few Paribhasha Sutras, what Jiva Goswami explained in his Sandarbha. Jiva Goswami says, a Paribhasha Sutra explains the proper method for understanding a book. It is a key sloka to understand the actual purport of a book or chapter, and the series of apparently unrelated facts and arguments. So many things will be there in the book. But to understand the core meaning of the book, this Paribhasha Sutras will be used. This will be read in two factors, Tattva Vichar, and another one is Raga Vichar. Both ways this can be read. There are millions of statements in a book, but they are all regulated and subordinate to this one strongest verse. This is called Paribhasha Sutra. We will see what is the Paribhasha Sutra of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam 1.3.28, it was called as per Rasa Vichar, as per Tattva Vichar. It is stated as there are two things, Tattva Vichar and Rasa Vichar. As per Tattva Vichar, that is a transcendental truth. The meaning of Tattva Vichar is transcendental truth. Srila Jiva Goswami, other Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they accept this Paribhasha Sutra of Bhagavatam is 1.3.28. What is that 1.3.28? That is a very main. Ete chamsa kalapumsha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vakulam lokam murdayanti yuge yuge. All what it stated, all the above mentioned incarnations are the either plenary portion or portion of the plenary portion of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on the planet. Whenever there is disturbance created by the atheist, the Lord incarnate to protect the theist. So, this is a Tattva Vichar, transcendental truth, and Rasa Vichar is a considering the rasa, how that can be done. However, according to Rasa Vichar, the verse number 1 was considered by Rasa Vichar. What is it, verse number 1? One of the first chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadiyasya yato anyavatti tarachatchav abhinanaswarat tena brahma hridiyadi kavaye mukhyanti yasurayaha tejo varimudam yatavim niryo yatre sri sargo mrisha damna svana sada nirtakukam satyam param dhimahi. What is saying? Oh my Lord, I will offer my obeisances unto you because you are the son of Vasudeva, all-pervading personality of Godhead. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is absolute truth and the primal cause of all causes of his creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universe. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestation, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. He is the only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, Adikavaye, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen in water. Only because of him do the material universe temporarily manifest by the reaction of the three modes of material nature. Appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existence in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of material world. I meditate upon him. So, this Paribhasha Sutra, in a very, very important verse, even in the Bhagavatam, there are two slokas. One as per Rasa side, one is as per the other, this thing. So, both, one is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, like that. Like that, if you take the other things like Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you say the verse number 114, it was considered as a Paribhasha Sutra. Thus, the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita follows the lead of its source, the Srimad Bhagavatam, by focusing mostly on the Adi Rasa, the intimate love pastimes of Sri Krishna and Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ecstatic experience of them, it is in this particular verse, the verse number, it is in Adi Leela. Anarpita Charitam Chirat Karunaya Vitirana Kalau Samarpyayitam Unnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sanpati Sada Hridaye Kandare Sruhuva Sachinandana. May Sachinandan Sri Chaitanya, who is Sri Hari himself, appearing in a splendid, beautiful golden form in Kali Yuga to mercifully give the never before given special treasure of bhakti that is brilliant and supreme, Mahabhava Madhurya Prema. That is Sri Radha, and the beauty of Radha's service as her Manjari always be manifest within the core of your heart. Let Chaitamrita 114, it is stated as a Paribhashya Sutra. For that, Srila Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Madhurya Rasa, Gopi Bhava, and the method of worship done by gopis. Therefore, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan also followed the Gopi Gaudiya Vaishnava, especially worshipped Krishna in the Madhurya Rasa, while aspiring to become assistants of gopis. In Radha Krishna Leela, the gopis are simply helping Radha and Krishna campaigning together in Kunjas in Vrindavana. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, we chant. Is it not? So they are helping them in the Kunja, this thing, Radha and Krishna and Kunjas of Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contribution is Radha Krishna Leela. So Gaudiya worship Radha and Krishna. The idea of this verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita 114, is that one become attracted to the loving affair of Radha Krishna, then one will forget all this enormous enjoyment of this material world. That was the purpose. Although many tattvas, rasas and truths are revealed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, since 114 is the Paribhashya Sutra, as we discussed, everyone must accept it essential teaching, real meaning, and the ultimate message is Radha Krishna Madhurya Leela, Gopi Bhava, and the eternal love servicing Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan. Summarizing all Smritis and Srutis, Sri Rupa Goswami, most perfect definition is giving what is Suddha Bhakti of all these. In the Paribhashya Sutra, in each and everything. Now we are coming to a Paribhashya Sutra of a Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Paribhashya Sutra is 111. That is, the Srila Prabhupada quoting this particular verse 394 times in his books and classes. All of us, we know about this. Anya Bilasi Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavartam, Anukulena Krishnanuselanam Bhakti Rottama. Pure Bhakti means maintaining a positive, spiritually charged and favorable attitude and enthusiastically engaging all activities of one's body, mind, and words in a joyful service of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, solely for the happiness of the pleasure of Lord. For the pleasure of the Lord, and doing a joyful service in the mode of spiritually charged, favorable attitude. That's called the Uttama Bhakti. It is devoid of all ulterior selfish motives, totally free from aparadha. What are the aparadhas? This is in Bhakti Sastri course. Those who are reading, they may be remembering all that. Vaishnava aparadhas, Vaishnava aparadha, Nama aparadha, Seva aparadha, Jiva aparadha. All this is, and also not mixed with the Gyan, mundane view of philosophies, or karma, selfish reward gaining, pujas, yajnas, homas, all those things, karma, and yoga, astrology, and so many other things. This is devoid of all these things. Uttama Bhakti is situated. That was Anya Bilas Sunyam. This verse establishes the purpose of essential teaching of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the topmost pure devotion. So this is one of the verses called Paribhashya Sutra. Although Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, like Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, describe other tattvas and rasas, it is ultimate conclusion of Madhurya Rati, Radhika, the damsel of Vraja, because they exemplify the topmost standard of pure devotion, Uttama Bhakti. So, like this, we saw in Srimad Bhagavatam what is the Paribhashya Sutra, we saw in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we saw in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Like that, Bhagavad Gita also, it is stated, one particular verse is stated 277 times. It is stated in the book, which is Agam Sarvasya Prabhavo Matat Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvitaha. 10:8. Bhagavan Krishna says, I manifest everything, both material and spiritual, as Paramatma. Make everything work and move. Knowing this well, the intelligent worship me with all their heart. So here it is stated with the intelligent people, they will listen to me, they will follow me, they will accept me with their full heart. That's what he says. As I said, 277 times, this is quoted by Srila Prabhupada, the same verse. Okay, so this is, everything must also include in this particular thing, Srimati Radharani, Gopis, Manjaris, Bhava, Mahabhava, and Vrajadam. Krishna says, Buddha, Bhava, Samanvitaha. Intelligent person worship me with Bhava. Since Radharani worship Krishna with the topmost Bhava, Mahabhava, Sri Radha is certainly far most intelligent than all of us. Is it not? That we should understand. In this word, the word Samanvita means decorated, accompanied, followed with, or with a relationship. Krishna's word Bhava, Samanvita, means the relationship with Bhava and Mahabhava of Srimati Radharani. So for the devotees and Bhava Bhaktas, this means cherishing Gopi Bhava, our relationship with Radhika, as her intimate serving maid following the path of Rahanuga Bhakti. If you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this Raganuga Bhakti, it was very nicely explained. So, Tattva Vichar is one short of Paribhasha Sutra. It will give Rasa Vichar, it will give one more type of thing. In the same Bhagavad Gita, as per Rasa Vichar, what is the Paribhasha Sutra? The main Sutra was Manmana Bhava Matbhavto Matyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evasi Satyam Te Parijane Priyosime. Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer obeisance unto me. Then certainly you will come to me. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So, Mahandi Maharaj explained very nicely about all these Paribhasha Sutra. So, a portion of it I had taken to give it to all of you. So, we had seen the Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, and Bhagavad Gita, all that we saw. These are the main sutras. From this, we can understand the entire book. The entire book is going towards that direction only. Thus, in closing, we see that just like other essential books of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, also describe different tattvas and rasas. However, if one closely examine Gita, one will see that ultimate conclusion of Madhurya Rati, Radhika, the damsels of Vraja. Okay. This is why Acharya say Gaudiya Sampradaya is a Rahanuga Sampradaya, teaching of Vraja Bhakti and the eternal loving service of Sri Radha and Govinda. That is in the Gopi Bhava, following the mood of feeling of Srimati Radharani. So this is what it was stated. And further to that, Prabhupada also in this particular verses, he was mentioning about two vidhis, as I indicated to you. One is Pancharatrika Vidhi, another one is Bhagavat Vidhi. In the same way, as the physical, see, we need both the vidhis for our spiritual upliftment. The physical train needs two parallel tracks, Srila Prabhupada says. In the same way, the train of bhakti needs two tracks. One is Bhagavat Vidhi, the path of Shravanam Kirtanam, and also the Raga Marga, the Pancharatrika Vidhi, the path of Archana. That is a Vidhi Marga. When Srila Prabhupada come to the West to reach Krishna consciousness, he first introduced the religion of this age. Chanting, any disturbance? Can you give a reciprocation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear? There was some internet problem. That's why I asked you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
There was a
When
disturbance.
Srila Prabhupada come to the West to reach, okay, thank you. When Srila Prabhupada come to the West to reach Krishna consciousness, right now I am talking about a Vidhi Marga, that is a Bhagavat Vidhi and the Pancharatrika Vidhi. When Prabhupada went to West to teach Krishna consciousness, he first introduced the religion of this age, chanting Hare Krishna, in order to create a taste in the young devotees for the hearing and chanting. Only after some time, he started to introduce the process of Archanam, or a deity worship. He explained to his students that Archanam is a necessary part of devotional service. The Pancharatriya is a prescribed purificatory process suitable for the age of Kali. Such a purificatory process is allowed only for the spiritual upliftment. The Archana Marga, or the devotional path described in Pancharatra system of devotion service for worshipping the deity in the temple, make the devotee think constantly of the Lord, that in samadhi or in trance. One who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord, and that makes him perfect in the mission of human life. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. In Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami gives the following explanation of how two paths go together. Normally, in Srimad Bhagavatam's opinion, that the process of deity worship is not actually necessary, just as a specific prescription of the Pancharatra and other scriptures do not have to be followed. The Bhagavatam enjoins that even without practicing deity worship, one can achieve the complete success of human life by any of the other devotional processes, such as simply offering oneself to the Lord's feet for his protection. Nonetheless, Vaishnavas follow the path of Sri Narada and his successors, endeavors to establish a personal relation with the Lord by receiving a grace of a bona fide spiritual master through the initiation. In this tradition, the devotees are obliged at the time of initiation to begin engaging in the deity worship. Although deity worship is not essential, the material conditioning of most candidates of devotional service requires that they engage in this activity. When we consider their bodily and mental conditions, we find that the character of such candidate is impure in their mind and are agitated. Therefore, to rectify this material conditioning, the great sage Narada and others have different time recommends the various kind of regulations for the deity worship. So Jiva Goswami explaining it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these things. Srila Prabhupada write a comment on this on Srila Jiva Goswami's quote. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful that does not depend on official initiation. But if one is initiated and engaged in the Pancharatriya Vidhi, deity worship, his Krishna consciousness will awaken very soon. And his identification with the material world will be vanished. The more one freed from the material identification, the more one can realize that spirit soul is qualitatively as good as supreme soul. At such time, when one is situated in the absolute platform, one can understand the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical. He is telling in the purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One important point to be considered while following this path, out of 9 processes of devotional service, Kirtana is very, very important. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore instruct that other processes such as Archana, Vandana, Dasya, Sakya should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by the Kirtana, the chanting of the holy name. So in all our centers, we see in ISKCON, Archana, Arati, Bhoga offering, deity dressing, decoration, all are preceded and followed by chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It was indicated. Now, let us have a short look at what is this Pancharatra. Pancharatra is, Pancha means we understand is 5 steps constituting 5 steps. Pancha means 5 and Ratra means night. Ratra means night. It is said that once 2 demons, Madhu and Kaitava, stole all the Vedic knowledge from Lord Brahma. Madhu and Kaitava stolen all the Vedic knowledge from Lord Brahma. Now Lord Brahma, he doesn't know what is Vedic knowledge. So that much happened. So Lord Narayana come for his risk to receive back all that from the Madhu and Kaitava, killing them and give it to Brahma again. He did so in 5 nights. That's why it's called Pancharatra. Pancharatra, 5 nights he did it. And there are 108 Pancharatras are there, whereas out of it, Narada Panchara is only 1. Okay, that's what we talk about. There are 108 Pancharatras are there. So, 5 parts also known as a Panchanga Puja, or the worship according to 5 steps. They are as what are these Panchanga Pujas are? Abhigamana. First is called Abhigamana, Upadanam, Yoga, Ijya, and Swadhyaya. So Abhigamana is preliminary activities such as walking early morning, waking up in the early morning, paying obeisances to one's spiritual master, cleaning one's body, putting fresh clothes, tilak, performing achaman, putting on tilak, reciting Gayatri mantras, all these Abhigamana. Upadanam, it is collecting the required item for the worship of the deities. We will have to collect all the things, flowers, water, all those things, fruits. Then yoga, or linking one's mind to the Supreme Lord by reciting Buddha Sutti prayers. So many prayers are there, which if a pujaris will be doing before entering to the altar of the eternal servant of Supreme Lord. We'll have to recite so many Buddha Sutti prayers. Vijaya is the next one is actual worship of the Lord with 16 upacharas. All the 16 upacharas, most of us we know. We will give Argyam, Padyam, Achamaniyam. Then we will give the other upacharas, like Samara, so this thing, flowers, so many things. Shodas upachara we will do. So the fifth one is the Swadhyaya, the personal meditation or cultivation of the devotional service, such as Shravanam and Kirtanam. So we can see in this Bhagavad Vidhi, the fifth step is the Pancharatrika system. Fifth step is Pancharatrika system, Panchanga Puja. Bhakti Vidyapurna Swami once explained, Pancharatrika system is a perfect spiritual lifestyle meant to assist people in Kali Yuga, to calm down their agitated mind and to purify their consciousness. In this way, they are uplifted on the platform of Sattva-guna, from where a concentrated and substantial Nama Japa can be practiced. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A pure Nama Japa can be practiced when we follow all these Pancharatrika Vidhis, and we can climb up on that. In the last course of this discussion, Srila Prabhupada talking about avoiding offenses. In the purport of this particular verse, he was giving avoiding the 64 offenses. I was just going through the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu recently, and there were 32 main offenses and 32 offenses which are mentioned in Varaha Purana, and there are offenses about chanting the holy name, 10 offenses like that. A few of the offenses I want to review so that we can remember all those, so that we will be not in a position to commit those offenses. In the preliminary Vedic literature, there are following 32 offenses, which is one should not enter the temple in a palakin, or which was just talked about a very great people, or with the shoes on his feet. This is one. One should not fail to observe the various festivals. One should not avoid bowing down before the deity. One should not enter the temple to worship the Lord without having washed his hand or feet after eating. One should not enter the temple in a contaminated state. One should not bow down on one hand. One should not circumambulate in front of the Lord on his own self. Okay. One should not spread his legs before the Lord. These all look small, but still we could see some of the people, the neophytes, they don't understand, but we should teach them. One should not sit before teaching them. We should know what it is very seriously. One should not sit before the deity holding ankles, elbows, knees with his hands. One should not lie down before the deity. One should not accept prasadam before the deity. One should never speak a lie before the deity. One should not talk very loudly before the deity. Very, very important. We had seen during festivals and other thing, some group of people, we will stay together and we'll talk very loudly. One should not talk very loudly before the deities. One should not talk with others before deities. Because when we are worshipping, the main is concentration should be on the only main person, not with others. If we want to do, we'll have to come outside of the platform. One should not cry or howl before the deity. One should not quarrel or fight before the deity. One should not chastise anyone before the deity. We should not. One should not be charitable to beggars before the deity. What is this thing? One should not speak very harshly to others before the deity. One should not wear fur blanket. There's a leather items. One should not praise anyone else before the deity. Only Lord to be praised. One should not speak any ill name before the deities. One should not pass air. One should not fail to worship the deity according to his means. It is not that he can be, Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. So we'll do only Patram Pushpam Palam. No, according to what is possible by us, we should worship the deities like that to satisfy the Lord. It is not enough with only little water and a leaf. We lose only little water and a leaf, and the rest of the money we spend for our sense gratification. That should not be there. That's what it stated. So one should not eat anything which is not offered to the Lord. One should not fail to offer fresh fruits during the season. After cooking, no one should offer any foodstuff unless it is offered to the Lord first. One should not sit with a back towards the deity. One should not offer obeisances silently to spiritual master. When you are offering obeisance to the spiritual master, we should recite the prayer of spiritual master loudly. That's what is stated here. One should not fail to offer some praise the presence of spiritual master. When you are going, you will have to glorify the spiritual master. Then only it's good. You cannot just say anything. You should go and glorify the spiritual master. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, like that. One should not, and Pranam mantra also will have to say, one should not praise himself before the spiritual master. One should not deride the demigods before the deities. So like that, there are so many things are there. And further, in Varaha Purana, it is said, one should not fail to in a dark place, we should not touch the deities. One should not fail. This is meant for people who are doing deity service. One should not fail to strictly follow the rules and regulations of worshipping the deity. One should not enter the temple of deity without first making some sound. One should not offer any foodstuff to deity which is being seen by dog or the lower animals. Very, very important. One should not break. That's why we will cover the offering. One should not break the silence while worshipping. One should not pause. There's so many things. One should not offer incense without offering some flower. Whenever you offer incense, then you will have to accompany that with a flower. And some of the useless flowers we should not use. The flowers which is not having fragrance, we should not be used. And we should be very clean, wash our teeth. One should not be enter the temple. Okay. One should not touch a woman during the menstrual period, or like that. So many, another 32 odd. If you touch go to a cremation ground or something, you should not enter just like that. Okay. And if there is a death in your house, you will have to maintain some days outside and come, right? And we should not, like that. It was so many a beetle nut we should not chew in front of the Lord, right? And one should not touch the deity before completely taking the bath. One should not decorate his forehead with a tilak. If he, that is a 3-lined tilaka that Lord Prabhupada said, we should use proper tilak only. We will have to use. We cannot use whatever we want. One should not enter the temple without washing the feet and hand. Other rules also there. And we cannot offer the food stuff which is cooked by a non-Vaishnava. And when you want to bathe the deities, your fingernails, you should not touch the water. And when you are perspiring, we should not do the deity worship. All these things are there. So these are the vidhis which is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The people who are gone through that, they will be knowing about it. Anyway, it is very strictly, we will have to follow all those things. And even while chanting the holy name, there are 10 offenses it was indicated. We all of us maybe daily chanting, we should remember all these points, why it is stated. Like to blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. This is an offense. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Brahma to be equal or independent of the independent of the names of Lord Vishnu. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature and persons of Vedic version. to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, to consider chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activity offered in Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name, to not have complete faith in chanting the holy name and maintain material attachment, even after understanding so many instructions on the matter. So every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses. That's what it was stated. So in this particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Shiva is trying to see the Lord's form, and he is giving prayers, and he is asking prasadas to follow the path of how he is praying. He is giving a wonderful guidance as a guru to the prasadas. So they are also very nicely, they are following it. And in that, Lord Shiva want to see the form of the Lord, which was shown to the devotees, great devotees. The form, Lord got so many type of forms, but Lord Shiva want to see the form which is specifically shown to the devotees. That's why I referred some of these verses, what Kunti Maharani's prayers, what she had seen in gopis of Vrindavan in their separation, how the forms they were remembered, and the Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita explaining how about the form of the Lord he was explaining, and a few more things as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport. I just touched it. A few like one is these offenses, what it was Prabhupada said 64 offenses we should avoid, and further the main verses, that is I said all those from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Paribhasha Sutra, what it was stated, Paribhasha Sutra, and all those things we explained for Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and what is this two vidhis, like Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi, and about all this, what is the Pancharatra, how it is happened, all these things we discussed. I hope we are going to come near 9 o'clock. I should have stopped it 5 minutes before. So I am closing it here. Vanchakalpataru Kripa Sandupyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. If there is any question you can ask, I will close it here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Murali Murari Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank you very much for very nice class. It was wonderful narration describing the beauty of the Lord, and then the how to worship the deities, different forms of different modes of worship.
Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, Prabhuji. I muted the line for devotees to share their comments or questions. Devotees may please unmute the line to share the questions or comments. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, you are able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you for the wonderful lecture and also just reminding us about the offenses.
Hari Hari.
It's a good refresh to always remember that how we should be, carefully serving. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
This is for myself.
Prabhu. For me, suddenly it is there. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thanks for the nice class, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
What is Paribhasha Sutra, Prabhu? Can you please explain?
Paribhasha Sutra is each and every book, or if you take any book like a Srimad Bhagavatam, scriptures, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, that book is meant for something, is it not? That we want to communicate some message to you. Yeah, that message could be only one, but it will be explained in a different ways by a learned man. Truth is a single thing. It can be expressed in a different ways by a learned man. So all these Paribhasha Sutra is that particular verse which will be explaining the purpose of that book. Either the purpose of a book or a purpose of the chapter or a purpose of that particular verses. So Paribhasha Sutra is nothing but the main verse. which was analyzed by Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami analyzed all these Paribhasha Sutra because he gone through all the text, each and every verses, and to understand what is the main purpose of that particular book, right? If we take Bhagavad Gita, what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? It is very explained. Manmana bhava matto madhyajimam namaskuru. Right? In if you take Chaitanya, what is that? Bhakti Rasa Sutra.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You got it, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Right, Prabhu. It was analysis by Jiva Goswami. That's called Paribhasha Sutras, which out of all these is very, very important to us. We should understand why it is. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the main thing? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. That was the purpose.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, and you told one more terminology you were using. I could not get that. Like you told one more thing, Prabhu, but like Paribhasha Sutra only. You were telling.
It is Vidya, two Vidhi, Pancharatrika and Bhagavat Vidhi I talked about.
No, Pancharatrika Vidhis, that is, I mean, I can understand, but you were using some, along with Paribhasha Sutra, you were also telling one more point.
Paribhasha Sutra only I said. It is I said it in four, 5 categories. One, Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the first verse. Om Mama Bodhe Bhavadaya plus Krishna Subhavan Swayam. Then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Supreme, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the ultimate this thing, the incarnation. The third one was the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, talking about Anya Abhilashi Sunyam. That was the key this thing. In Bhagavad Gita, that is 2 verses we indicated. One is Manmana Bhava Matpato. There are two. Now I understand. It is Rasa Vidhi. One is there are 2 type of this thing. 1 minute, I will.
Prabhuji has written Rasa Vichar, Tattva Vichar.
Rasa Vichar, yes. Rasa Vichar, and other one is this thing. What is that?
Tattva Vichar.
Tattva Vichar. Tattva is about the philosophy. Through the philosophy, what is the main verse? And Rasa means that nectar. What is that important verse? Important of this thing, both. This is as per the grammar. This is the highest grammars of Jiva Goswami. Tattva Vichar, yeah. But in there are, it was analyzed in 2 type of this thing. All these really analyzed with 2 type of Rasa Vichar, that is considering the rasas, and Tattva Vichar is transcendental truth. What is both? They will analyze that. That was what you are questioning, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you.
This was mentioned by Jiva Goswami, Rasa Vichar and Tattva Vichar, transcendental truth and consideration of Rasa. In both this way, they will conclude some of the main verses, the purpose of the book or the purpose of the chapter.
Sure, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. It seems there are no other questions.
Okay.
We can end the class with the Vaishnava Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for
Hare Krishna.
wonderful session again.
Hare Krishna. Panchakalpataruvasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananda Kodi Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna devotees, I'm ending the Zoom session. We will meet again tomorrow morning. Hare Krishna.